Cory Barlog and Santa Monica Studios deliver an enchantingly beautiful journey with their revamp of God of War. In such a captivating landscape, you'd be excused for not catching some of the Easter eggs and references in this Nordic tale. If you haven't finished the game yet and don't want any spoilers, then stand back, boy. I'm Crystal Marie with the Leaderboard, and we're on the hunt for Easter eggs in the new God of War. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to become part of our notification squad. Why won't you die, Kratos? So we all know that Kratos doesn't really die. The underworld can't keep Kratos down, and neither can horrible stab wounds. The man is persistent. So at the end of God of War 3, when Kratos willingly impaled himself, we didn't really think that was going to be the end, did we? Joke's on you, Death, because the ghost of Sparta is back in action. If you look closely at Kratos' magnificent abs, you can see the huge scar left by the blade of Olympus. The scar isn't the only thing left over from Kratos' days of punching the Greeks in the face. His standard Spartan uniform has gotten a bit of a Nordic upgrade, but you can still see remains of his pterygies under that leather covering. For those of you that are not familiar with ancient Grecian military wear, because why would you be? Pterygies is the Greek word for feathers. In this context, it refers to the decorative skirt of leather or fabric strips worn around the waist and is a staple of Roman and Greek soldiers of the time. The Spartans themselves were known for the use of red in their armor. Kratos' red is a nice callback to his Spartan heritage. Kratos' armor has an added strap with its own little Easter egg. Check out the Omega-shaped buckle used to hold the Leviathan axe. The Omega symbol has been an iconic part of the franchise from the beginning, and the additional fur is an adaptation to suit the Nordic region. Indeed, it came as a surprise that Kratos wouldn't be voiced by the man that has been screaming his rage since 2005, Terrence C. Carson. Santa Monica needed to cast the same actor for both motion and voice, due to the studio's new practice of performance filming the in-game footage. With Atreus in the picture, the size difference needed to be significant to indicate how big Kratos was. Enter Christopher Judge, who at 6'3" towered over the boy. Judge is most notably renowned for his portrayal of Teal'c from Stargate SG-1. If you haven't watched the series, it's worth checking out. Teal'c is a strong and silent alien known for his misuse of Earth grammar and the frequent use of the word indeed. Sound like any Spartans you know? Stargate fans get a kick whenever Kratos delivers Teal'c's favorite line. They are dead now. Does it matter? Along the shores of Nine, near the stone falls into the east, lie two large yellow doors. The area, known as Veithurgard, is an optional area with two side quests that allow you to free a dragon and take down Thor's statue. There's a spirit nearby there that vows revenge on the gods. Sound familiar? I like how this new Kratos is all enlightened and turns his nose up at other people's desire for retribution. Our boy's come a long way. Upon following this quest, you begin to row along Veithurgard's path and things start looking a little familiar. Row through the mountain crevice with clear blue water and sharp white rock faces on all sides. It leads you to two giant statues that look exactly like the scene from The Lord of the Rings where the Fellowship are rowing their way to the gates of Argonath. In God of War, the dwarf statues guard the realm of the dwarven king Motsognir, father of the dwarves, and in The Lord of the Rings, the gate marks the northern border of Gondor. Before we move on to our next Easter egg, I want to remind you to enter our weekly console giveaway. Go to www.leaderboard.nyc/giveaway and log in with virtually any internet account. For your best chance to win, you're going to want to subscribe to the Leaderboard on YouTube and sign up for our email updates. You can also follow us on social media and tell your friends about the giveaway for even more chances to win. Enough distraction. Tyr's Vault is full of relics of the past, including some from ancient Greece. Greek pottery is pretty easy to spot with its iconic orange-hued clay and black designs. Kratos spots a vase used to hold wine, which coincidentally came from the vineyards where he was born. He shares a draught with his underage son and teaches him that real men say "ah" after drinking really old wine. Another piece of ancient pottery features the ghost of Sparta himself. It's easy enough to identify that iconic silhouette, standing atop a pile of bodies, wielding the double-chained blades with a bright red tattoo on his chest. It can only be the young Kratos at the height of his destructive path. If the Parthenon behind it is any indication, it could depict the Temple of Athena where the ghost of Sparta was born. Quiet head. Besides Kratos and Atreus, Mimir is one of the characters that we get to interact with pretty frequently in God of War. Mimir helps cut the tension and injects some much-needed sarcastic humor. When we meet Mimir, we find out that Odin has trapped him in a tree and subjects him to daily torture, so Kratos, in all his infinite sympathy, slices off his head. It's a much less brutal decapitation than Helios for sure, and even though Mimir doesn't light up, he still proves fairly useful along the journey. In Norse lore, Mimir is the wisest being in existence, a fact that the head never fails to point out to us. He guards the Mimisbrunner, which is a well that is said to have given Mimir his great knowledge. In the Norse legends, Odin was said to have gone to Mimisbrunner and sacrificed his eye in order to get a drink from the well. The well's power gave him the ability of sight, which in the game, Mimir now possesses. In fact, the beheading that happens is also part of the Norse lore. During the Aesir-Vanir War, Mimir was beheaded by the giants and Odin embalmed his head in order to preserve it and keep it close for times that he needed to seek advice. Last point about Mimir, which isn't really an Easter egg per se, but could be potential foreshadowing. While you're in Tyr's secret room, Mimir says that the skianda that they find, aka the butter knife, is similar to the one that he had from his homeland. The skianda is however of Celtic origin rather than Norse and is worn as part of Scottish Highland tradition. Interesting. I want you to know, I have rabies. This new God of War isn't short on humor, and even Kratos pulls out some amazing dialogue for us. I'm loving the script, the characters, and of course, Ratatoskr. You can find Ratatoskr at the very top of the Light Elf outpost. You know, after you've solved a couple of puzzles, knocked a few monsters around, basic God of War stuff. When you're done, you'll get yourself a chest that gives Atreus the ability to summon the almighty Ratatoskr. Who is Ratatoskr, you ask? He is the mouthiest little squirrel this side of the world tree. He's full of lip and has absolutely no regard for the quest that Kratos and Atreus are on, but he'll begrudgingly dig up some items for you when summoned. If Atreus has light arrows selected, Ratatoskr will dig up health stones. If Atreus has shock arrows selected, Ratatoskr will dig up rage stones. In Norse mythology, Ratatoskr is indeed a squirrel with a penchant for troublemaking. His original task in the mythos is to carry messages up and down the world tree Yggdrasil to the wise owl that sits at the top and Nidhogg, the dragon that lies coiled among the roots. I wouldn't count on Ratatoskr as an Easter egg per se, but he's pretty hard to find and just a delightful little companion to have around. He keeps it real for our boys. Boy. Atreus, more commonly known as Boy, is one of the key additions to this new God of War. The game's director, Cory Barlog, who recently had a son, wanted to add that journey of growth with his son to Kratos. There are a lot of reflections between his son and Atreus, although I hope none of that murdering God thing. For instance, Barlog is married to a Swedish woman, but he doesn't speak a lick of the language. So like Kratos and Atreus, he uses his own son to translate for him when he needs to speak to the in-laws or, you know, buy things at IKEA. It's a way to build a bond between the two, and it gives Atreus some powers, so he doesn't just get in the way. Pandora. This is your story. Born with the blood of giant and God in him, Loki, the trickster god, is the son of Laufey, or as she's known in the God of War game, Faye. In the game, we discover that Atreus is indeed Loki, the magical shape-shifting being that gave birth to Odin's 8-legged horse, Sleipnir. Yep, you heard that right, gave birth. There are a couple of scenes that confirm Atreus is Loki from the future and is either simultaneously existing in the present as a kid and the future realms, or he's been sent back in time for some reason. The God of War series definitely plays fast and loose with timelines and realms, and here are a couple of things that support the theory. When Atreus meets Jormungand, the world's serpent, he says that he feels Atreus is familiar to him, with Mimir adding on that it could refer to something yet to be. Jormungand responds to Atreus' call during a battle. Check out that white eye glow on both of them. The boy has a good head for languages, so he might remember how to call Jormungand, or he's accessing the forgotten language from a parallel life. From the way Mimir refers to events, I think he knows more about the future than he's letting on. The death of Baldur towards the end of the game is another telling fact that ties significantly with Norse mythology. It is Loki who plans Baldur's death with mistletoe. In the myth, he got another god to do it, but it looks like this time around, our Atreus is not afraid to get his hands dirty. Lastly, the big target painted on Atreus by the Norse gods is no coincidence. Odin isn't after Kratos at all, but instead could be manipulating the past to ensure Loki dies before he has the chance to father Jormungand and Fenrir, as it is foretold that they will kill Thor and Odin during the time of Ragnarok. With the first of the Fimbul winter well on the way, it looks like we have another 2 more years to see exactly who survives Ragnarok. About a boy. Speaking of Kratos' young son, shortly after God of War 4's E3 debut, GameSpot reported the little archer's name as Charlie. While Charlie isn't the right fit for Atreus, Santa Monica Games did end up giving somebody the name. See for yourself when you return to the Witch of the Woods house for a second visit. On arriving, Atreus remarks how he hopes that Charlie will remember him, to which Kratos responds, "What is that name?" Of course, Charlie is the name of a tortoise that the Witch of the Woods lives on. The reaction Kratos has to hearing the name is a reference as well, but to God of War 4's real-life director Cory Barlog. In an E3 God of War livecast for the PlayStation blog, somebody mentioned the article to Barlog and he responded with, "I don't know where they got that from. God of Infinity War." Sure, Avengers Infinity War may be a thing for the mortals of 2018 to adore, but who says some Nordic gods can't get in on the action as well? After finding an epic talisman called the Shattered Gauntlet of the Ages, be sure to upgrade it all the way. The description of the gauntlet reads, "An ancient relic of hell deemed too powerful to remain whole. Fragments of its former strength lie scattered through the realms." It's your job to reunite the disconnected power. After being improved and thus gaining 3 sockets, the item acts as a delightfully subtle Nordic infinity gauntlet. Just make sure to place God of War's Infinity Stone in its sockets to unlock the weapon's full potential. And each Infinity Stone has an in-game equivalent. The Soul Stone in Andvari's Soul, the Reality Stone in Asgard's Stone of Existence, the Space Stone is Eye of the Outer Realm, the Mind Stone is Ivaldi's Corrupted Mind, the Power Stone is Muspelheim's Eye of Power, and finally the Time Stone is Nord's Temporal Stone. Luckily, you only need 3 to bring out the talisman's full potential in God of War, that potential being a colorful purple shockwave, a projectile blast to go with it. Don't fret if you're short a stone, even 2 of the 3 possible stones will improve the attack. I'm Crystal Marie, and thanks for watching our God of War Easter eggs and references video. Did you already know these? Did we miss any other Easter eggs? Which were your favorite? Comment below and let us know. And check out some of our other videos by clicking the links in the description.